Hello, everybody. My name is Alistair Whitfield, but many of you may know me by the name Thistlecrux or Rice Paw here on the YouTube animation community. I wanted to make this project to bring awareness to how special our community is and really give a voice to everybody that helped me in my journey and show how important this community is to rising animators. I am currently a graduating new media student at University of North Carolina at Asheville. I am on the character animation track, and yeah, this is my last semester and this is my senior project. So, how did I become involved with all of this? Well, I first picked up a book from the Warrior Cat series when I was in 5th grade, probably. And at the time, this series was incredibly important to me because free reading time was mandatory. And I struggled to read. And I still struggle to read. But something was different about Warriors that I'm not sure if it was the fact that I latched on to the animal characters and saw myself in them. They were, as an autistic person, easier for me to relate to. I felt very, very connected to Warriors. And it being one of the only things that I could actually read and digest, it became an incredibly important part of my life. Every reading assignment I had ended up becoming Warrior Cats related. And sooner or later, I got internet access. Ooh. It was around this time where, Instagram had just come out. Some way or another, I started getting Warrior Cats art in my feed. And this is I'm talking the old style MS Paint anime style Warrior Cats art. And I realized that there is this giant community of people connected by these books that I had no idea existed. And of course, I quickly became absolutely obsessed. In addition to Instagram, I was also on YouTube. I made multiple friends through the Warrior Cats community on Instagram that had started to participate in these things called maps. And I had no idea what that was. I was like, what is a Warrior Cats map? I would soon find out that it stood for Multi-Animator Project, and it was a way that artists who were just starting out, just finding their way animating, whether it be on Flip-a-Clip or Clip Studio Paint, people were learning to utilize them in order to bring the story of warriors to life in a visual way that had never been done before. I absolutely fell in love with these map projects. And I quickly decided that I wanted to participate in them, and they inspired me so much that I pretty much decided on the spot that I was going to become an animator. Now, even though I had dipped my toes into this world and I had tried my hand at some maps before, I was 11. I kind of drifted away from the Warrior Cats community as I aged. I can't remember exactly when I really started to get back into it, but I know it had to do with when I was searching for my college. And I had decided that I wanted to be a biology major so I could work in exotic animal veterinary. And time came when I started my journey as a biology student. And even though my first semester went really well, I started to realize in my second semester that it was not where my heart was, and I was struggling a lot with organic chemistry, which is apparently what weeds out who is going to stay in the biology major and who isn't. I did not. I think it was around this time where I was really anxious and depressed and kind of crashing out that I was on YouTube and I was, thinking about my roots and if I should be an art student and what I would do. And I came across a map that changed my life. And that is the Roxanne map. I cannot begin to explain the feeling that washed over me when I witnessed this for the first time. I don't know if I would have become an animation student without having this moment where I watched that and it just overtook me. I was dumbfounded. At the end of it, I remember just staring at my screen, watching the credits in absolute awe, and not even being able to fathom that the people who were working on these were people like me, who are my age or even younger, who didn't have professional experience, and it was okay because there was a community and people were doing it for fun. After this awe-inspiring moment, I decided that I was going to quit being a biology major, and I went to the chair of the new media department and I essentially begged for them to let me in. And they gave me a chance. And of course, I decided that I was going to start on the animation track. I decided that I really wanted to try this for myself. I joined a couple of maps that I found online, and even though I wasn't perfect or in, some jaw-dropping place with my animation, I realized that I was improving quickly, I was having a good time, and even if I was insecure about my work, my community members, people who were working on these projects, really valued what I was making and they appreciated it. It went beyond appreciation for technical skill. It was appreciation for what I brought to the table that was unique. And that was very special for me. After doing a couple of these projects, I decided it was time. I was going to host my own Warrior Cats map. As of now, it's over a year that I have, been working on this project. I released it several months ago. So, I'm still a baby map host. And alongside this time, I was experimenting on my own and doing these maps for fun. I was working under a professional animator, Professor Christopher Oakley, who has been a pivotal part of my journey. As I was working on those projects and my passion projects at the same time, my skills began to become more and more polished. And I produced some projects that I was really proud of. Now, managing a Warriors map is not all sunshine and rainbows. It is a big responsibility, and it is serious business. I don't know what I thought, but for some reason I was so optimistic and so excited that I thought, I don't think it'll be that difficult managing a team of 50 people that I've never met before, and I just have to trust them to get their work done. But I did, and even though there were some bumps in the road, I learned a lot about being a leader, knowing when to put my foot down versus knowing when to give grace, being able to gently guide people in the right direction, and being able to listen to others, gain their insight in order to help develop me as both an animator and a person. In the end, we created a finished product that I am incredibly proud of, and I am so proud of everybody who participated in that project with me and took a chance on me. I think that's also something that's beautiful about the Warriors community is I was a random account on YouTube that had barely posted anything. I had no traction, and yet there were enough people willing to take a chance on me to fill an entire video's worth of parts, which I think is definitely part of this love and community that fosters creative sparks in young individuals and those who are trying their hand at this for the first time. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about the map making process. Usually, this starts with an idea. I feel like what happens is I'll hear a song or I'll read a portion of a book and think, oh, these two things really go well together. I love music video maps. I think it's awesome to be able to take a song that I really love and appreciate and characters that I love and appreciate and being able to combine them together to make something truly unique and entertaining. Once an idea is done, typically the host, which in my case would be me, or maybe in your case you, would either create their own character designs based on descriptions from the book, or gather them from a plethora of very popular artists known in the community for their character designs. And with these designs gathered, then it is time for the storyboard. Typically in the Warrior Cats animation community, the director is the storyboarder. Sometimes people will get outside help, but in most cases, it's the director. And even the storyboards for a music video or a map that is, around, let's just say 5 minutes long, it takes a lot of work. There are countless drawings that go into these storyboards, making sure that the lighting direction is accurate, your angles and transitions are congruent with each other to be able to make sure that these projects cut into itty-bitty pieces all flow together well, despite there being, maybe 50 animators. Once the storyboards are finished, the next step is cutting them to music to make an animatic. Once that's all edited together and the director assigns parts to cut timestamps, it is posted on YouTube, and you wait. Entries will come in, and that is so awesome. And there are people from all ages and demographics and experience levels that are going to apply to these. And it's at that time where the director is going to sift through all of those submissions and choose who they feel would best bring this project to life. When I'm organizing these and I'm casting parts, I absolutely think about whose animation styles will merge best with the part before and after it. Definitely making sure that the art styles and animation styles match the overall tone of the project. But there are map projects for all different experience levels. There are beginner-friendly ones and more, like we're looking for more experienced animators for this project. After all of this is done, a Discord server is made. And in these servers, there are specific roles to designate animators, spectators, moderators, directors, etc. And it's really a great way to organize a project and make sure that everybody is submitting their progress to the, correct avenues, have channels for lighting references, character designs, storyboard cuts. This is a very easy way for your animators to be able to pull what they need to do their part. And I really think it's wonderful. It's now the director's job to manage everyone and set progress reviews at certain designated points where every animator sends what they've been working on. And at that point, the director will choose to give people passes or warnings depending on how much work they've gotten done according to their deadlines. And if individuals are not meeting their deadlines consistently, a lot of times they will be dropped and replaced with a backup animator. So I feel like these projects really give a very strong sense of responsibility and making sure you are meeting deadlines in time. And it's great to be able to experience both sides of being an animator working under a director and a director leading a team of animators. I think that experience is genuinely invaluable and something that you wouldn't typically be able to get outside of the animation industry or in school. And this is a wonderful way for people who are trying their hand at it, maybe aren't going to university, to be able to build these skills and honestly reach a professional level of animation. There are some incredible artists that have built everything that they have on warrior maps and their experience animating warrior cats, which I think is just mind-blowing. With all of that out of the way, I am lucky enough to be being joined by several members of the Warrior Cats animation community, and they have been gracious enough to spare their precious time to interview with me and answer some questions to gain their insight on what makes this community so special.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Thistle. It's nice to meet you. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Grace, or you can call me Spider. It doesn't really matter. I am currently a university student. I'm attending my second degree.
I am Lexi, and I've been animating for about 2 years now. I've been drawing my whole life, but I've only recently gotten into animating.
Okay, are you ready for these intro questions?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. When did you first read the Warriors series, or even just a book?
I first read Warriors around probably 2013 when I was like 12. I was recommended the book series by a friend in middle school, and she kept talking about like some of the crazy plot lines. I remember specifically her telling me that like Tiger Star reemerging during like the final battle.
Yes.
Of course, I didn't know what she meant at the time. I was like, "Cat's coming back to life? What?" And I kind of went off to that knowledge, and it inspired me. And I have pretty much all of the books. Even if I don't read them, I like to collect the books.
Funny enough, the series itself came out either a week before or a week after I was born, so I kind of grew up with the series, but I had an older sister who would read the books. She'd kind of pick them up and be like, the annoying little sibling being like, "Oh, what are you reading? I want to read it. I want to be just like you." So I stole a book from her pretty much and have been reading it my entire life.
What in particular stands out to you about the Warrior Cats community?
Very good question. I love how dedicated the community is and how full of animators and artists it is. Who can really say that there is a bigger fandom back to so many animation projects that keep it alive?
Yeah, I always tend to wish in other fandoms I'm involved in that it's like Warrior Cats in that sense, but it is truly unique. I've never seen it before.
I would just kind of look up, like, as a kid, I would just kind of, like, look up the characters, and there would be so many unique, like, drawings and designs, since the series itself doesn't really have that.
Yes.
Like, it has the graphic novel now, and there were some drawn adaptations, but for the most part, the descriptions of characters in the books have always been a little inconsistent, so they're always up to interpretation.
How has this community fostered your desire to create?
I'd say the engagement from others who like saw my fan art gave me so much motivation to improve and seek out a creative career when I did want to.
Yeah, that feeling of, being a, less social individual or less popular and being able to get traction is definitely a magical feeling and something that I feel like is really especially potent in the Warrior Cats community.
The series itself kind of has this unique aspect to it where it's really easy to make like your own fan characters and kind of slot them in wherever you feel like and make your own stories. So it's really easy to just get creative and start thinking about everything that you want to make that you don't already see.
Is there a particular map or Warriors animator that has inspired you the most?
I do remember watching, I think, like SSS Warrior Cats before I even knew what Warrior Cats was. Like, I saw some of the really early projects. A specific animator would be Nifty Senpai, like, back when I was a kid. She was my primary inspiration, and when she was actively like participating in different projects, I wanted to do the same thing as her. I think that's probably why I wanted to get into animation.
There's been so many different fan adaptations, and it's been so inspiring, like SSS Warrior Cats back in the day. Everybody who knows Warrior Cats and has been on the internet has seen SSS Warrior Cats. But it's just been seeing so many. It's like the sheer volume of maps that have been consistently pumped out by this community, because there are some that are like 10 years old by this point that have like millions of views, and they are still been reaching like hundreds of thousands of views on the internet. It's crazy.
How has participating in maps developed your animation skills?
I am more of a very like observant person, and I kind of went off with my own analysis, observing other people's animations and kind of studying that. I obviously didn't like take any kind of professional approach, but what I do still isn't really a professional approach, but it works for me. Like I never actually sat down and looked at the principles of animation.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that's something that always blows me away about Warriors animators is there will be people producing like insane quality animation and they're like, I don't know, I just kind of started doing it and watched maps and then I just got good at it. I'm like, what?
So participating in maps was pretty much the entire reason I got into animating. I did like a little bit beforehand, but I started animating pretty much exclusively because of Warrior Cats. I would make my own characters and then animate them. And then pretty much immediately after I started doing that, I was like, oh, I really like animating. I would like to do more of this. Let me go look up some maps that are open right now and try to see if I can join.
Do you feel as if you would be where you are today without the Warriors community?
I don't think I would be an artist without the community. Like, the community as a whole is motivated and kept me going all these years. I have, like, periods where I'd stop doing, like, Warriors team content, but I still like to draw animals. That's kind of, like, my niche.
Absolutely not. It has been a massive part of my life for animating, just talking to people, the friends I've made in this community. I have a giant bookshelf with all the books I've had over the years. I never got rid of any of them.
That's so wonderful. Well, I think those are all of our interview questions. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Not like for the interview, but I'd love to just like talk a little bit more if you're like down.
Yeah, OMG,
about,
let
like,
me. Yeah, let me stop my recording. Well, I am so happy to hear that this community has been such a positive influence on you, both creatively and in your social life. I think this was a really valuable insight, and I mega appreciate you participating in my project.
No problem.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a good night.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye. Again, thank you so much to these amazing community members that have shared their insights for this project. I know some of these people personally, and they have even been in my personal map, or I've worked alongside them in other maps. And I think it's really a special thing to be able to hear the voices of the people behind the projects. And that's something that animators don't typically experience a lot of the times. We are the people behind the mysterious curtain. So I am honored to be able to give a voice to some of these community members and be able to share what we do behind the scenes, because it is a lot of work and so much of it is never seen. So whether it is a 12-year-old animating on MS Paint for the very first time or a Disney level animator working on Toon Boom Harmony in a studio, these people are incredible. And it's one of the only places where I've ever experienced being able to look at a 14-year-old and think, God, they would cook me in the industry. But I honestly love that. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and it has been an honor to be able to tell you a little bit about our community. I'm Thistlecrux, also known as Rice Paw, also known as Alistair. I thank each and every one of you for watching this video, and I hope you go watch some maps!